half a century, Veterans Day in the Bay Area has always been observed by an unusual fraternity of former soldiers known as the Last Man's Club. Well, at today's party, Albert Furrer finally became the club's last man, having outlived his 31 fellow veterans. The celebration took place at Brookside Hospital, where the 96-year-old civic leader is recuperating from surgery. Furrer and the other veterans started the club on Armistice Day in 1932 on a lark as a way to have some fun once a year. Today, the surviving veterans said that the honor of being the last man was really beside the point.
I think it was a great organization. I think we had a lot of fun. But that was because we were all ex-Army or Navy men. And it was just a case of getting together. We were out for a good time. The hell with the any honors or anything else.
Well, the last man was to receive this bottle of champagne. It is soured. It will now be donated to the Contra Costa Historical Society. Furrer was also supposed to receive what was left of the club's coffers. He says that was depleted years ago by all the parties they threw.
It was a wonderful story.
Yeah.
Furrer is 96 years old, the last survivor in a unique club formed more than half a century ago. A group of World War I buddies created the Last Man Club, deciding whoever outlived all the others would inherit a bottle of mum champagne signed by the whole group. Furrer wins the prize, but he calls it a dubious honor.
Whether unfortunate or unfortunate, the thing is living this long. See, in 2 months I'll be 97. And the trouble is, you get some complications that are a little bit rough.
Well, the vintage champagne, by the way, is no longer drinkable.
They call Albert Furrer the last man. The Richmond veteran has outlived all his buddies, the buddies he fought with in World War I. Today, he was the guest of honor at the annual Veterans Day Parade. Ben Williams has the story of one of the few still around who fought in the war to end all wars.
Al Furrer is 96 now and has outlived all his closest friends. His friends were 35 other men, all veterans of World War I, who formed a Last Man's Club more than half a century ago, and Al is the last one left.
We met once a year, and the next time we met would be at a funeral.
Al was drafted in 1917 and went to France. He said he missed most of the shooting war because he spoke German.
The reason I was such a success was I came from a German family and I could speak German, and they were looking for interpreters.
When he got back from the war, he settled in Richmond, opened a successful office supply business, and in 1932 joined a group of vets from his American Legion post to form the Last Man's Club. They met once a month. They never talked about the war, he says. He says mostly they discussed civic affairs. The second year, they bought a bottle of champagne and vowed the last man alive should drink it in memory of all the rest. And one by one, they all died away. The last one died earlier this year. Anita, Al's wife of 67 years, died 4 years ago. But Al has outlived even that bottle of champagne, which is soured and evaporated to half a bottle. So for this year's party, they had to buy a new bottle of bubbly. What accounts for his long life?
Oh, I did everything that every average guy would do. I didn't turn down anything.
Al says he's enjoying the party with the cake and champagne, but he says he doesn't take much joy in being the last man because now all of his friends are gone. He says next year he'll probably just spend this day in bed. From San Pablo, I'm Ben Williams, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
That last bottle of champagne and all the other memorabilia from the Last Man's Club will be donated to the archives of Contra Costa.
It has its roots in the Revolutionary War. Every Veterans Day since then, the surviving members of the club celebrated together. Today, only one member of that club is left, the last man. And in San Pablo today, he had a special celebration. Betty Ann Bruno was there.
World War I veteran Al J. Furrer wheeled down the hall of the convalescent hospital he calls home these days. At 96 years old, he has now outlived all of his buddies to become the last man of the Last Man Club. Now, the last man was supposed to drink this bottle of champagne, bought back in 1932 when the club was first organized. But it's a bit too old. So the original bottle, autographed by the 32 club members and stored all these years in this special case, will go to the Historical Society. And Al Furrer today sipped the 1976 bubbly.
I want to thank you for this. I'm only sorry that My treasurer had to pass away.
The treasurer was Victor Paracchini, the next to the last man, who died last February.
I'm really happy I'm here today to say thanks to you, Al Furr.
Thanks. Sure.
Here's to you.
Al Furr's 96 years haven't dimmed his memory at all. He told stories and joked with reporters as he looked over some old scrapbooks of the club members and their careers, doctors, bankers, lawyers, and businessmen.
Now, the empty chair was over here. The undertaker sat there. They never let him in. Nobody wanted to sit there, so.
Every Veterans Day, the club members met to swap war stories and count survivors. Losses were duly logged. As the names were scratched out, they were numbered, first, second, and so on, down to today and the last man. As for Al Furr's advice on wars today, he says if we keep on going in the way we're headed, somebody's going to get a good one.
With the weapons today is, oh God, I'm telling you, we never could imagine having anything like that. Look at how they're shooting them now up into the space and all. We don't need all that. What we need is farmers and people to create energy. Those two things.
One of the original ideas of the Last Man Club was for everybody to put aside some money so the last man would have a little legacy. Well, today when Al Ferrer asked what happened to that bag of money, he was told, you guys spent it all on parties. In San Pablo, Betty Ann Bruno for the 10 o'clock news.
On behalf of my father, who always said he would be really happy if you were the last man.
Furr, ironically, wishes all his 31 buddies were there to enjoy the occasion.
But this year, what they brought together for this publicity, it's too bad these guys can't wake up in their graves and read what's coming up. You know what I mean?
He never expected to outlive the others.
No, because we had younger men in it, much younger than I was.
And with a wink, he says he hasn't exactly lived a holy life. For Furr, it's a bittersweet feeling to be the last man. He's hoping, though, to be around for many more armistice days to come. In San Pablo, Betsy Gebhardt, KICU, TV 36 News.
Furr is donating the famous Last Man's Club champagne bottle to the Contra Costa County Historical Society.